midterm work. I know you're delighted to get this. We're going to do, I'm asking you to really revise. You've done ratios this week. I'm asking you to revise incomplete records. Possibility of incomplete records, I think, coming up in your exam is, I think it's really high. I'd say it's about 90% chance. I think, could be wrong, but we need to nail this week, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is revise, and I'm going to give you a quick video on 2015. Obviously, there's parts of this that you really understand, so you fast forward to the bits that you're finding difficult. Some of you might need to go through the whole video, and that's fine. So the first thing, right, if this appears, then you should be happy if incomplete records actually, I think, turn up, because it's very likely question 1. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is, we're going to do this in steps, and I'm going to tell you to follow a procedure just to make sure that you don't leave out things. And that's the biggest problem with this question, is that you might leave out certain parts. So on the 1st of the 1st, he purchased the business for 220. So the first thing we're going to do is, step 1, we're going to figure out our goodwill. So with this new business, we're going to list all the assets he got with the new business. We're going to list all the liabilities that he got. And we're going to put in the amount of capital that he invested was 220. And both sides should actually add up. Now, when both sides don't add up, I'll just cheat here and just get the answer. The difference will be your goodwill, 27,700. And that's step 1 done. And that's your goodwill. And you will make sure that that is transferred. Now, when you're doing the question, right, even if this isn't working, as we use these figures, they all have to be used again. Just put a tick beside them to say that you've used them. And then when you're looking back and you're posting to your trading profit and loss and balance sheet, make sure all of these have a tick beside them. Okay, so step 1 is calculating your goodwill. Step 2, now they don't have to be in this order, it's just the order I'm doing them in. I want you to do your debtors control account. Now your debtors control account starts off with the balance. Now where do you find the balance from? It's from what you had at the start. So that's that 18,000 being used. Okay, then have a look and see in your cash account or your bank account how much money have you received from your debtors. And I have done out my cash and bank here. So I'm going to tick this because I'm using this figure, and I'm saying that I've used or I've received 34,000. Okay, so again, like your statement finding your goodwill, with your cash and your bank, put ticks beside the figures as you use them, because everything should go twice. Now the only other figure that we're missing is the balance at the end, and that should be given to you at the last paragraph in the question. And in the very last paragraph in the question, it said that this is 20,400. So then your missing figure is your debtors figure. Sorry, I need to get a calculator. Okay, so you have 34,000 plus 20,400 minus. So your credit sales is 36,400. Okay, and remember these are all workings. So you want to get your total sales. So your total sales is made up of your cash sales and it's made up of your credit. Now we've got the credit and we still need your cash sales. Okay, so let's have a look at this here. So I've done out the cash account from the information they've given you in the question. So they said money went out lodgements. That means you obviously sold things and then you lodged that money in the bank. So that 110 is there and it's also here. So that's went twice, okay? You paid money for general expenses, you paid for purchases, and that's exactly what they told you in the book. What I want you to be careful of is there's going to be a drawings figure for cash that you're going to have to look for. There's going to be a balance for cash at the end. There'll be a balance for cash at the start. And the difference between these two to make them balance will be your cash sales. Okay, so you have to look for a few figures. The balance at the start should be here. So there's that figures being used. So that 400 is there. The balance at the end is the last paragraph they give you in the question. And the balance at the end for your cash, they say is 600. Now to get your drawings figure, you have to go to the statement where they give you drawings, which is usually under the bank lodgements. And it said Murphy took goods and cash 120 per week in cash. So there's 52 weeks, so he took 6,240 in cash. So you've everything filled in now, and the missing figure will be your cash sales. So if we just work that out, so you have 110 plus okay, so I'm getting 248,440. Okay, so that means this is your cash sales. So your total sales in your question is 284,840, and you've got that figure now for your trading account. Okay, so just remember again here, all of these figures should have ticks on them because you should be using them twice. So that came from over here, so we've used that twice. That came from the end. You'll be putting the drawings into your drawings working, and we're going to show you how to use these here as well. Okay, so your cash sales was used up here to calculate that. Okay, the fourth thing that you have to do is your creditors control account. Now with your creditors control account, you need your balance from your creditors at the start, which should be here. So that's 22,500, and I have it up there. You want to know how much cash did you pay to creditors? So again, look at your cash in your bank account, and here it says you paid creditors 42,100. The balance for creditors is given where all the balances are, and they're at the end of the question. So that's 32,600. And then you're able to calculate your credit purchases. So you have 42,100 plus, so that's 74,700 minus 22,500. So your credit purchases is 52,200. So your total purchases, well, your credit is 52,200. How much did you spend in purchasing for cash? It's here, 86,200. So we've nearly got both of our purchases and sales figures, 138,400. Okay, and that's an important figure. I'll be highlighting the two of them. So again, you've done quite a lot of the adjustments so far. So just remember, I'm going to have to take these off the board in a minute to be able to show you the rest of the adjustments. As we use these figures, put a tick beside them because they all should be used. Likewise here, all of these should be used again. And likewise here, all of these have to be posted again. So just get into the habit of putting a tick or highlight them as you use the figures. Sorry, just before I rub this off here for you. So what I was saying, we have this figure and we have this figure here. Now these two figures might change when you go to do your trading profit and loss balance sheet if there's a new adjustment, which there is in this question. There's an adjustment, if you look at the second last statement there, it's some adjustment to do with sales. But I'm going to leave these figures as they are, and we'll put them in, and then we'll make the adjustment to them at the end, okay? Okay, so sorry, I just forgot to finish this off for you here. Sorry, I just want to put another thing in here that you're going to have to look for. Right, so the bank account, I've just taken these straight from the question. There's a few things that you need to look out for in your bank. You need to look out for a loan that might happen in an adjustment. You need to look out for them buying some sort of fixed assets. They might buy 2 or 3 or just one. And you need to look out for your investment fund. Okay, so I'm actually going to leave them there for the moment, and we'll fill them in as we come across them in the question. Okay, step 6 is your drawings. Now, in your drawings, in this adjustment, watch out, there's usually 5 to 6 entries that you're going to find as you go through the question. And step 7 is your expenses. It doesn't matter which expense we do. Now, because I have these up here at the moment, I might as well start with the expenses here. So I'm going to start with my light and heat. Okay, now you can do these as a T account, or you can do them straight down. It doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm going to do them as a T account today. Right, I actually might do a mixture of both. So your light and heat, remember, if it's for this year, it's on the debit side. If it's for last year or next year, it's on the credit side. So you paid 6,800 for your light and heat. Okay, and I'm going to go back and find all my information on that in a minute. Okay, my next expense looking there is my interest. And again, for my interest this year, I have paid 1,500. Okay, and the next one I have there is insurance. And my insurance is 3,800, but it did tell you that that was for 1 year. So if it's for this year, it goes here. For next year, it goes out of there, or the previous year. So again, you've taken care of all of these. So let's go back to your statement. Now you'll have your statement part 1. And if I look back on that, is there any mention of any of my expenses? And there is mention of insurance prepaid 1,200. If insurance is prepaid at the start, it means it's for this year. So there's 1,200 here prepaid at the start, which is a balance, and that represents 3 months. Okay, and there's mention of wages due, but I didn't see wages anywhere. But in your cash payments, if I had my workings up here, I had general expenses. So I'm going to put my general expenses here. And from my cash for general expenses, I paid out, where is it? 45,800. It's to be included this year is on the debit, excluded on the credit. Now at the start, your wages due 1,800. That's definitely from last year, so I want them excluded. Okay, so again, I'm just filling up all the bits of information that I have. So the balances came from what was given to me at the start. I need you to look at the end next and see is there any balances for any of these expenses. And it says there's electricity due of 380. So light and heat due means it's for this year. So I have a balance, BD, of 380 because that was used this year, so it needs to be included here. So again, all the figures initially came from my bank or my cash. The second thing that I look at is my introduction statement and put in all my balances. The third thing that you do with your expenses is you look for all your balances at the end. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to read through different parts of the question and see what's relevant to my expenses, because that's all I'm doing at the moment. So if you go down to, I think it's the 4th paragraph. Murphy estimated that 25% of furniture, 20% of interest payable, and 25% of light and heat are drawings. That means 20% of this will go into drawings. And here, 25% of light and heat will go into drawings. So my drawings will be, part of it will be made up of light and heat, and part of it will be on interest. Okay, so you put those in. I think that's it on everything there. Okay, so let's look at this here. So what we want is, we want the figure for the profit and loss. So what we would do, if you ignore the drawings first, okay, that means you have 6,800 plus 380 is 7,180. So that's how much you would have used for your light and heat. But you've just been told that 25% of that figure is drawings. So 5,385 is my figure for light and heat for my profit and loss. And my drawings for light and heat is 1,795. So again, that's the figure that you're going to put in your profit and loss. But just to tell you there, that is getting you 7% of the total marks. Okay, let's look at my insurance next. I have everything in there for my insurance. Now you need to be very careful here. Here there's a hidden balance. If you look at this, you have 3 months and you have a year. That's 15 months. In the profit and loss, we're only doing a year. So when you come to do your profit and loss, you only want to put in 3 months. So there's a hidden balance at the end for insurance. So of this figure here, this is for, it adds up to 5,000. This covers January, February and March. And this covers April to December, January, February and March for next year. So of this figure, the 3,800, 3 months of it is for next year. So that's 950 is for next year. So that's 4,050 goes into my profit and loss. And again, working that out gets you 7%. Okay, but watch that, that was hidden. And it's usually insurance or advertising that they'll give you that bit. General expenses, this is all you have. So the figure that you're going to put into your profit and loss is 44,000 for your general expenses. And for getting 44,000, they're giving you 5%. Okay. Now let's look at the one expense that I haven't done there. I haven't done the interest. And the reason I haven't done the interest, I need to tie that in with working number 8. Okay, so I'm going to put working 8. Let's see if I can fit it up here. Okay, so step 8, the loan. Okay, so we need to have a look at that loan. So it's usually given under your drawings. So you borrowed 120,000. That means in your bank account, you got another 120 from a loan. Okay, now what did you do with that money? You bought a showroom, which is premises. So the fixed asset that you have got here is you got premises of 90, and the remainder was spent on furniture. So furniture had to be 30,000. So there's your 2 hidden fixed assets, okay? So you borrowed 120,000, and that was on the 1st of the 9th. What year are we in? 14. So that means you've had it for 4 months, okay? And the rate that you're paying interest is at 5%. So it's 120,000 at 5%, and you should only be paying 1/3 of a year. So if we work that out, so it's 120,000 multiplied by 5, and again, I only want 1/3 of a year, which is 2,000 is the amount of interest that I should pay. So let's go back over here. We know in your profit and loss, you need to pay 2,000, but we were just told 20% of that 2,000 was drawings. So that means in the profit and loss, 1,600 here and 400 here. So again, there's your figure for your interest in the profit and loss, and your interest for your drawings is 400. Okay. Now, while we're doing the loan there, we'll look at what way you're paying back the loan. The capital is going to be paid in a lump sum, and you're going to transfer at the end of every month 1,250 into an investment fund. So the investment fund, which would be go into your, you put under investments in the balance sheet, you're putting 1,250 into it, and you have 4 months to put that money in. So that would be 5,000 euro should be transferred into your investment fund, and that's where that 5,000 comes from down there. Okay, so the investment fund, remember, it goes into your balance sheet. And then with your investment fund, when you're putting it in the balance sheet, don't forget to add on the interest. So in the balance sheet, the interest is 30. So that's 5,030 would go into your balance sheet there on your investment fund. Okay, after that, your bank is all, everything is in there for your bank, so you can balance it off. I'm not going to balance that for you, you can do that yourselves. Okay, let's go back to our drawings. I said you should have 5 to 6 things for your drawings, and it said that you took stock of 100 per week, so that's 5,200. I'm actually going to leave that for a minute just to see, do we come across anything else? And 25% of the furniture. So again, like, I knew there that that wasn't finished. I knew there had to be 5 to 6 items. So the furniture that you bought, the new furniture, 25% of that furniture was drawings. And remember, you bought 30,000. So 25% of that is 7,500, and that gives you your total for your drawings. Now your drawings figure, again, should give you quite a lot of marks in the exam. It gives you 5% there. Okay, right, I think I have most things done for you. The last thing that I want to do is that adjustment that they've given you. Okay, so this is new, and I think they will add in some adjustments from question 1 to this question. You had goods with a sales value of 6,000, which had been sold at a markup of 20%. So their selling price is 6,000, and that's equal to, sorry, what was the rate? 120%. So that means that these goods would have cost you 5,000 to make. Okay. Had not been recorded in the books. An invoice was issued to the debtor on the same date. They were still in the warehouse. Okay. So you've sold these goods. So you know your sales, whatever figure you had got, you need to add on 6,000 to it. Your debtors, whatever figure they've given you, you need to add on 6,000, and your closing stock needs to go down by 5,000 because you actually sold the goods. Now, just another few things to remind you: the loan that will go into your balance sheet under creditors greater than 1 year, your charity here of 3,000. That will go into your profit and loss as an expense for you. If you look back at your cash book, it's gone off the board now, but in your cash book, I thought it was your cash book, yeah, you had dividends of 4,000. That means the only place that the business could get dividends from is from the owner giving them personally to the business. So that dividends of 4,000, make sure you include that as an introduction of capital. And I just want to check through everything now. I think, yeah, that's everything done. So the last thing that you would have to do after all your workings is put everything into the accounts, and you can do that yourselves.